Welcome to the Jill Sinclair Show, bringing you real conversations about business and life to help you to overcome your success blockers. Remember to subscribe, rate, and review on whatever platform you're listening or watching. Limitations. Let's talk about limitations. Oh my gosh, we have so many limitations that we place on ourselves that we don't even realize we're doing. And I bet you got some limitations you know that you're placing on yourself that you're just holding on to those for dear life. Tell you what, I did a post a couple days ago about limitations. Now, I got this idea from Jim Quick. Jim Quick did this video, and it was about turning your body around and being very aware of where you were spatially. And then when you came back to visualize it, you went so much further. Some people literally went 50% further. So go check out, it's on my Instagram on Ms. Jill Sinclair. So check that out. Let me know how you do. And it's just amazing because we have these limits that we place on ourselves that we don't even know. So right now, what are you thinking? What's the first thing that comes to mind? What is the limit you're placing on yourself? Now, a big one for a lot of people is they're either saying that they're too young or they're too old. Guess what? That's a limit that you're putting on yourself. So those of you who are saying you're too young for what? Too young for what? So if you're suggesting that you might not be as successful as someone older, maybe in the sales field, maybe if you're looking to get a new job and you're going to be going for an interview, well, do you think that you're too young? Because guess what? If you think you're too young, so will everyone else, because you're going to be emanating that shit out of your pores. Here's what I want you to do is I want you to reframe that and think about, oh my gosh, if you are younger, guess what? You're going to have so much energy. You're going to have so much enthusiasm. You're going to want to learn. You're going to want to be a sponge. So guess what? I want to hire someone young, that's someone that's hungry, not someone that's going to be old and staid and really set in their ways. I want someone that wants to learn. So do you see how you can turn that around? Now, what about if you're saying you're too old for this? Oh my gosh, you know what? I'll never achieve this because, I'm already in my 40s. I'm already in my 50s and my 60s. Okay, let's reframe that as well. Guess what? I didn't write my first book until I was in my late 40s. That's going to give you an indication of how I am right now. So my first book, and then my TED Talk, and then my speaker series. None of this happened when I was in my younger years. They all happened when I was ready for it, when I was prepared to take these on, these tasks on head first. I was willing to jump in. Because here's the thing. Failure for me was not an option. Failure was not an option. And I realized that the only person that I was competing with was myself. So as a younger individual, I wouldn't have even known that. I had no idea when I was in my 20s that I would be an international speaker. I had no idea that I would do countrywide contest and have Vincenzo Guzzo on my, I guess I didn't know him 20 years ago now, did I? But the limits I had on myself because I didn't know what I didn't know. Now, I heard this saying a long time ago, and it's really stuck with me. You don't know what you don't know. So why don't we look at ourselves and say, okay, so what if we had no limits whatsoever on ourselves, on our income, on anything? What would we want to do with our lives? So whether you're 17, 18, 60, 50, whatever age you are, what limits are you putting on yourself? So again, a lot of people are saying, I'm in my 40s, I'm in my 50s. I don't think I'm going to get the success that all the younger people have, right? So again, it's just an excuse. It's completely just an excuse. So if you're suggesting that you're too old, all of the very, very, very successful people in life, the multi-billionaires, a lot of them didn't get their success until they were over 40. Over 50. Was it Colonel Sanders that didn't get his first big break? And he was in his 60s, I believe. Maybe fact check me on that one. But again, a lot of people didn't get their big success until they were a little later in life, because I believe it happens in the mind first. Well, obviously, right? It happens in the mind first, that you are so committed to yourself. You're so committed to your results. You're so committed to your goals. And you don't give a flying F about what anyone else thinks. You're just going to keep on putting your head down and moving towards your goals. I think a lot of people, when they're younger, they stop themselves with that, I'm too young for this success. I'm too young for this. And they are some people, not everyone, but some people are too concerned about what others might think. Whereas when you get older, again, you don't give a flying F about what people think. It's so funny. This analogy I have used in the past. I used to have this woman. She actually wasn't my aunt, but I called her Auntie Joe. And when I first met her, this dear old lady, she was 96 years old. She lived to be, I believe it was 105 years old. And I'd phone her, check up on her, and blah, blah, blah. And then she goes, okay, I'm done now. And literally she would hang up. She wasn't doing this to offend me. She was living her truth. She was living her life. And this is where we need to be with our lives. Not to be offensive to other people, but live your truth. Live who you need to be. So when you're saying that you have these limitations on yourself, well, you're speaking them into existence. And what I want you to do is start to speak to yourself in the acceptance of who you are. If you're using that excuse that you're too old, again, you're not too old. You're using it as an excuse. You're using it as a buffer, and you're just not willing to move forward into your goals. So what are some other limits that people have on themselves? Maybe they're too heavy. They're too skinny. They're too this. They're too that. Again, what are those limits? You're placing them on yourself. And again, too thick, too heavy, too skinny, too whatever. For what? Oh my God, you can be a lot of different weights and you can be healthy or you can be completely unhealthy. So again, what are the limits you're putting on yourself? What about limits in regards to exploring different careers? Okay, I'm going to give you this one. If you've been following me for any length of time, you know that I've had now, I'm going to count it, 72 jobs in my career. 72. And guess what? By the time I'm pushing daisies, I'm going to have a lot more. That's just the nature of who I am. And guess what? I don't have a university degree. That's okay. I don't have one. Guess what? I'm going to be teaching at a university. What? Yeah. I've just been asked to teach at a university here in British Columbia. Oh my God. So if you say that you have limitations, oh, I can't do this because I don't have a degree, I'm going to call a big old bullshit on that. Because everything I've experienced in my life, I put my head down and I go after it. I saw that there was a need for someone like me that's been in business for ages and to have the boots on the ground training. So I got a hold of some of the profs. They call them profs. I don't know. Am I going to be called a prof? Don't know. Love it though. So some of the profs at this Kaplan University, and all of them, they've got their PhDs. They're scholastic, they're educational. Like they've been in that system for a very long time. They were open to the conversation of someone like me who doesn't have the school degree, but has the life degree to say, oh my God, Jill, you've got so much enthusiasm. You've got so much to give. We cannot wait until you come on our team, until you come on our faculty and you teach alongside with us, because you've got things that we don't have. You've got things that you can teach these young people that they're really going to learn from. They're going to be tangible skills. Oh my God, right? So right now, tell me again, what limits are you placing on yourself? Oh, that job posting's asking for a degree. So what? That's just, they're putting that out there because they feel like they have to weed out people that don't have enough guts to actually apply for something. So if you believe in your heart of hearts, in your head of heads, wherever you're thinking right now, that you've got the skill sets to do that job, then guess what? You do. You have the skill sets. So word it in such a way, this resume, this cover letter, word it in such a way that you understand what is the biggest problem that this business has that you're going to solve when they hire you for the position. What is the biggest problem that you can solve and only you? Don't focus on you not having a degree, and never apologize for not having a degree or not having the experience. Because guess what? You have your own innate experience. You've got your own innate skill sets. You've got you. No one else can ever be you. So again, what limits are you placing on yourself today that if I was to look at that list, if you brought in Coach Jill Sinclair to look at that list, would I go, this is a bunch of bunk? This is a bunch of bunk? Because it's something that you're creating in your own mind. Remember, our mindsets are wonderful things that we can change. If you've been conditioned in your mind to continue to think that, oh, I'm not good enough, I don't have enough experience, I don't have that, you need to recondition your mind, my friend. You need to reset that mind every single day. Because if you're not resetting that mind, then you are always going to be living in this limit mindset. And that's never going to get you anywhere. limits in love, limits in relationships, limits in work. It's all up to you to change that mindset, because guess what? You are lovable. You are worthy. You are someone that can achieve any goal that you truly set for yourself. You just have to believe in yourself, and those bad habits that you have of limiting yourself, you've got to change those habits. You've got to bring those habits into something new. So to reset that, everyone who knows me, I love to write my goals down, my dreams down, my thoughts down, because when you write them down, what happens is your mind triggers to your body and your actions. So when you write them down, you're writing down your interpretation of what your thoughts are. So if you're thinking that, you know what, I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm too inexperienced right now, no. Write down what the positives are of those. So what is the positive of being too young? Well, in your mind, what is the positive of being young? Let's put it that way. That you've got unbounding energy, that you've got new ideas, that you aren't set in your ways. What are some positives of being older? Well, you have the experience. You've got the different ideas as well. You've got a new way of doing things for a different kind of company or a different kind of business. And what about lack of experience? Even if no matter what age you are, you're going to be lacking experience in something. So how do you present yourself in a positive way with that? Lack of experience doesn't mean you have lack of passion and lack of commitment. So focus on those things. Focus on your commitment to bring yourself to the next level. Focus on your commitment to learning, and show that evidence that you are committed to learning. So no matter what limits you have on yourself, it's up to you to change them. So I hope that was helpful today. I know it was for you. So what I want you to do is like, and also follow me and ask me any questions that you have on Ms. Jill Sinclair on Instagram. I'm on Clubhouse, not a whole lot these days. It's Jill Sinclair, as well as go to my website, jillsinclair.com. Any questions you have, because remember, this show is for you. The Jill Sinclair Show is to help you to overcome your success blockers in life and in business. So as always, remember to subscribe, rate, and review on whatever platform you're at, and I'll see you back here again.